North Korea recently experienced a significant setback in its naval ambitions. The nation's newest warship, a substantial 5,000-ton vessel, suffered a catastrophic failure during its launch. This event occurred on May 21st in the northeastern city of Chongjin, a known hub for shipbuilding activities. The launch mechanism reportedly malfunctioned. This malfunction led to a critical imbalance during the ship's entry into the water. The stern of the destroyer slid prematurely. This uncontrolled descent caused immediate and severe consequences for the brand-new vessel, turning a moment of anticipated pride into a scene of disarray and damage. The incident highlights the challenges North Korea faces in its military modernization efforts despite its outward displays of progress. The immediate aftermath of the failed launch was dramatic. As the stern plunged into the water ahead of schedule, parts of the hull were crushed under the immense, uneven forces. The bow of the warship remained stranded on the shipway, creating a precarious and damaging situation. This left the vessel in an awkward, half-submerged state, a clear indication of a serious engineering miscalculation or mechanical failure. The visual of the massive ship, crippled before it even fully tasted the sea, was undoubtedly a blow to the program. The precise nature of the launch mechanism's failure remains undisclosed by North Korean authorities, leaving observers to speculate on the root causes of this unfortunate incident for the regime. The incident did not go unnoticed by the highest echelons of North Korean leadership. Reports indicate that Kim Jong-un himself witnessed the botched launch. His reaction was reportedly one of severe displeasure. He is said to have labeled the event a criminal act, a strong condemnation that suggests significant repercussions for those deemed responsible. This public failure under the leader's watch adds a layer of political urgency to the situation. Kim Jong-un subsequently ordered the swift repair of the unnamed destroyer. The deadline for these repairs was set before the late June plenary session of the ruling Workers' Party, putting immense pressure on the shipyard and engineers. In the wake of this embarrassing and costly failure, accountability measures were swiftly implemented. It has been reported that 4 individuals connected to the shipyard and the launch have been detained. Among those taken into custody is the shipyard's chief engineer, a key figure who would have overseen the technical aspects of the launch. These detentions signal the seriousness with which the North Korean regime views this mishap. They also serve as a stark warning within the country's tightly controlled system about the consequences of failure, particularly on projects of national prestige. The pressure to rectify the situation quickly is therefore not just technical, but intensely political. The current condition of the North Korean warship is dire. New satellite images starkly reveal the vessel lying on its side, partially submerged in the waters off Chongjin. This precarious position, half in and half out of the water, presents an incredibly complex salvage challenge. Decker Evlith, an associate research analyst at CNA, described this as the worst possible situation. Such a state makes any recovery operation fraught with risk. There's a significant danger of the ship's keel breaking if attempts are made to simply pull the sunken half out of the water. The structural integrity of the entire vessel is compromised by this uneven suspension and submersion. Following the failed launch on May 21st, North Korean state media provided an optimistic, though perhaps unrealistic assessment of the damage. They reported that the damage was less severe than initially feared. According to these official reports, there were no actual holes in the hull. Instead, the damage was characterized as mere scratches, along with some seawater entry into the stern section of the ship. Based on this assessment, state media estimated that repairs could be completed in approximately 10 days. This timeline seems remarkably short, given the visible state of the warship and the complexities usually associated with maritime salvage and repair of this magnitude. This official 10-day repair estimate has been met with considerable skepticism from international analysts. Captain Carl Schuster, a retired United States Navy captain, previously suggested a much longer time frame. He estimated that repairs could take up to 6 months. This longer duration would depend heavily on the extent of the hull damage, the amount of water ingress into various compartments, and the potential formation of salt crust, which can corrode internal systems. The discrepancy between North Korea's optimistic projection and expert analysis underscores the often divergent narratives surrounding events within the isolated nation. The true extent of the damage is likely far more severe than officially acknowledged. The urgency to repair the vessel, as mandated by Kim Jong-un, places immense pressure on the engineers and workers at the Chongjin shipyard. The directive to have the warship operational before the late June plenary session of the Workers' Party adds a significant political dimension to the technical challenge. Failure to meet this deadline could have further serious consequences for those involved. This rush might also lead to compromised repair quality or risky salvage maneuvers. The world watches through satellite imagery and expert commentary to see how North Korea will attempt to resolve this embarrassing and technically demanding situation under such a tight and politically charged schedule. In a curious development, recent satellite images from Maxar Technologies have revealed a peculiar sight around the stricken warship. Since May 23, more than a dozen large, white, balloon-like objects have been deployed in the vicinity of the partially submerged destroyer. These objects are clustered around the vessel, suggesting a deliberate and coordinated effort. Their exact nature and purpose remain officially unconfirmed by North Korea, leading to much speculation among international observers and defense experts. The appearance of these objects adds another layer of mystery to the ongoing saga of the damaged warship, hinting at unconventional methods being employed in the recovery attempt. The purpose of these mysterious objects is a subject of intense debate. Experts have proposed several theories. One possibility is that they are intended to help get the massive ship back into an upright position. This would involve using the buoyancy provided by the balloons to lift or stabilize sections of the vessel. Another theory suggests the balloons could be a defensive measure, perhaps to protect the sensitive site from drone reconnaissance. Given the high-profile nature of the failure, North Korea might be keen to shield its recovery efforts from prying eyes. The unusual nature of these objects makes it difficult to ascertain their primary function without more information. Representative Yoo Yong-won, a South Korean National Assembly lawmaker and military analyst, offered a different perspective. He suggested the balloons might not be for refloating the entire ship. Instead, their purpose could be more modest, to prevent further flooding into the damaged sections of the warship. By displacing water or sealing off compromised areas, the balloons could help stabilize the vessel and prevent it from sinking further. This theory implies a focus on damage control rather than a full-scale lifting operation using these objects alone. It acknowledges the immense weight of the warship and the limited lifting capacity such balloons might offer for a 5,000-ton structure. Defense experts, speaking to CNN, have analyzed the shape and apparent tail fins of these objects based on satellite imagery. They suggest the objects could be smaller versions of aerostat aircraft, similar in principle to dirigibles. These aerostats would use a lifting gas to provide buoyancy, either in air or potentially adapted for underwater use. This interpretation aligns with the idea of using them for some form of lift or support. However, the efficacy of such a method for a vessel of this size and in its current predicament remains a significant question. The deployment of these balloon-like structures is certainly an unorthodox approach to maritime salvage. Retired U.S. Navy Captain Carl Schuster has provided further insights into the possible uses of the balloons. He proposed two main possibilities. Firstly, they could be intended to prevent low to mid-level drone reconnaissance, effectively creating a visual screen. Secondly, they might be used to reduce stress on the part of the ship still resting on the pier. This section of the hull likely suffered the most severe structural damage during the botched launch. By providing some upward lift or support, the balloons could alleviate some of the strain, preventing further damage or collapse. This theory focuses more on stabilization and protection than on a complete refloating operation. Schuster also noted a significant difference between North Korea's apparent approach and standard Western salvage techniques. He observed that the satellite images do not show flotation bladders being inserted directly into or under the hull to support it. This is a common method the U.S. Navy might employ, using specialized equipment to provide controlled buoyancy from within or directly beneath the damaged vessel. The absence of such equipment suggests that North Korea's maritime industry might not possess the advanced salvage technology or expertise required for such conventional methods. This could explain the resort to the more unusual balloon-like objects. Nick Childs, a senior fellow at the International Institute for Strategic Studies, expressed concerns about the chosen method. He warned that using balloons to lift or support the ship could inadvertently compound the existing stress on the compromised hull. An uneven application of lifting force could worsen the damage or even lead to the ship breaking apart. Child stated that the normal procedure for salvaging a stricken vessel involves maximizing buoyancy from within the ship itself by pumping out water and sealing compartments, and then carefully raising it from below using specialized lifting equipment like cranes or submersible barges. The balloon approach deviates significantly from these established practices. The future of the warship remains highly uncertain. Given the severe damage and the complexities of its current position, Child suggested a grim possibility: North Korea might ultimately have to cut the ship into pieces for salvage. This would be an acknowledgement that a full recovery and repair is unfeasible. The skepticism surrounding the regime's optimistic 10-day repair timeline is widespread among experts. The combination of severe structural damage, the worst possible situation for salvage, and the unconventional methods being observed suggests a protracted and challenging road ahead. Whether this newest North Korean destroyer ever sails operationally is now a matter of considerable doubt.